Thank you all.
I'd like to remind the members that as a fair hearing item, you are acting as a quasi-judicial capacity and therefore should pay heightened attention to the comments of the interested parties, meaning you should be in your seats and paying attention to the speakers or looking at your monitors. Which items would you like to speak on, Speaker?
I'd like to speak on the ones that I put in the kiosk. Should be on Bob's screen. 21, 22, and 23.
You'll have three
comment.
items for 21, 22, and 23.
All right, 20, let's see. So starting off with 21, that's a motion from City Staffer B and Officer Tracy for like a license plate reader, thing in the, and you're trying to propose this as like, hey, keeping unhoused people safe. You know what would be the best thing for unhoused people? Putting them in housing, giving them services, not sweeping them everywhere. Like, you're trying to make this sound like you're helping unhoused people with the item 21 here, but it's not. It's just, you're not doing anything to help unhoused people. You're just putting more surveillance in the communities. Let's see, we have items 22 and 23. This is related to maintenance services in the Sepulveda Basin. Their second, Raman and Padilla seconded each other's motions. Now, it's especially interesting that Imelda's involved with this, because you may remember that during the Fed tapes, there was all kinds of, stuff about the Sepulveda Basin and putting land in certain ways. So I wonder if this item's related to that at all. Hopefully it's just maintenance for street repairs and such, but you never know. So let's just make sure there's no corruption involved with items 22 and 23. Because admittedly, there's corruption involved in pretty much everything you do, so who knows, but hopefully it's not related to all that stuff that was done on the Fed tapes. It's just corruption, and more corruption.
Yes, my name is David Bolog. I'm from District 12, and I'd like to speak on agenda item 21. And if I can get permission to do my general public comment with that, because I prepared my speech with that.
You can speak on the agenda item right now for 1 minute, and general public comment will be held at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. The introduction of automatic license plate readers to our city is a very serious consideration. We're talking about surveillancing and the movement of every vehicle that goes in front of these cameras. People want these because they are said to be a tool to fight crime. Yes, they will help to track down the suspected vehicle that was driven in the act of a crime, but will it really bring the criminal to justice? Who's to say they won't steal a car right before the act or just change the license plate? This is only for District 12, paid for by District 12 money, which I'm a resident, supporter of law enforcement, voted for John Lee twice, and even donated money to his campaign. Currently, we have a willing and able law enforcement agency that's willing to track down and do the work of enforcing crimes, but our mayor doesn't want to. We have a county board of supervisors that do not want to build a badly needed jail, a DA that does not want to prosecute criminals. So what would be the point of this? To track the rest of us. Let's remember that 3 years ago, Mayor Eric Garcetti called an emergency mandate that everybody stay home because of the fear of a cold. I ask you not to vote on this. I wish I had time to express my thoughts. Thank you.
Come into the pews and sit down so they're in the on-deck circles, like what we call it, to keep things moving along. So who's ever speaking after this speaker, just come on and sit down. Go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Harriet Elliott. I signed up for 12, which is people understanding what the new drugs are.
Item 12 has been voted on. If you'd like to speak to it, you can do so in general public comment. Items available right now are items 19 through 25.
Okay, so 21, I'm with the previous two speakers about over surveillance. We have too much surveillance already. I'm going to speak on, again, directed energy, and do I have the floor for that? Can I just speak 1 minute on it?
No, ma'am.
No.
That's the general public comment is at the end. So, okay, thank you. Next speaker.
So I'm going to speak on all the above.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was your name again? I want to check the list again.
John Scudder, Jonscudder, and I
Right.
did register, and I actually asked to speak on 6 topics. which you voted on 3 of those already.
Okay, so we will check, see, well, we voted only on items that have already been heard that don't qualify for public comment right now. For some reason, your name is not on here, so we can try to fix that, but you are welcome to speak on the items 19 through 25.
So you write my name down, so when it comes to general, because I also registered for general, that I'm recalled appropriately?
Okay, we can ask the clerk to make sure that we add his name to general public comment, which will come at the end.
Thank you.
Sorry, sir, you have to go in the back and
did that.
register in the kiosk. Is there,
I speak every week. I know how to work
sir,
it.
in order to have your name appear on the screen so the president can call you out, you need to put your name through the kiosk.
Okay, we get that. There was some sort of a glitch this time. It's no problem. Go ahead, speak on items 19 through 25.
So on item number 21, I say no on the license plate reader, especially because it's only for one person's district. It'd be one thing if this was a license plate reader that would benefit the entire city of Los Angeles and it was in everybody's districts. I say no to that. Even with a license plate reader, I believe it is a violation of privacy and our amendment to privacy under our constitutional rights. I mean, if you're going to actually legally stop somebody, a police officer should be present, a ticket should be rendered, therefore the person is notified. This is a way that the city can generate tickets, income, and people not even be notified of it. And it also, I believe, targets some of the homeless or less fortunate people in the community as well. So I say no to that. That and the fact this city council at the beginning of the year gave away over 1/2 of our city budget to increase the police department's budget for policing. Therefore, we should have more than enough personnel, because we give away half the city budget, to hire and retain police officers. So on that note, I vote no on that. On item 22 and 23, because of the nominal amounts of money that people are asking for to be allocated for overtime and media maintenance, I believe there needs to be proof of service, proof that the maintenance is getting done, and that this is just not money voluntarily being donated into an overtime fund, which we seem to have a lot of abuse of overtime funds. LAPD is key to that, and we have parks and recreations that need a raise and need money. So I request proof, if that is going to be granted, that the work is actually being performed, and where those monies were spent and how they were spent for improvements. All right? Thank you. That concludes my time. I rest.
Great, thank you. Again, I've read all the names that were on the queue. I see some people may have come in, but unless there's someone who's ready, okay. Mr. Spindler, go ahead. Which items would you like to speak on?
Yes, let's see here. We'd like to speak on all the goddamn fucking
Okay.
items,
3 minutes, go ahead, items 20,
including
19
the
through 25.
Imelda Padilla scandal. Yes, so let's get to number 19. Look at this piece of shit. So this will decide the future of CD6. Yes, it will decide who's going to be the next council person as well. Yeah, so what do you want? Do you want these quickie projects, or do you want these slow-moving projects? How are you going to pay off the building inspectors? How are you going to pay off the council members? How the fuck are we supposed to get donations to the office holder accounts? Kevin, what are they doing here? Make them stop this shit. We gotta slow down these motherfucking projects so that we can go and feed. Yum, 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 yum. That's what it's all about. So again, as Imelda bows her head in disgrace, that's what we have to do. We have to stop this and put it on the slow track. Then we have the maps and CD14. Oh, is that a map for Kevin? Do you want a map in there? Are you supporting it, Kevin? Would you like that map over there on the next item? Well, I think somebody nodded their head no. Then we're against it. Be quicker next time. And then we have a license plate reader by Staffer B. Look, an FBI snatch, possibly, wants to rake all of our license plates. License plate, license plate, license plate. How are we supposed to pick up prostitutes in CD12 when you're taking our license plates down? How are we supposed to deliver money? How are we supposed to take and make hostage negotiations? Now we're going to have license plate, fake license plates, and cars from out of state because of John Lee and his goddamn 21 item. I am against this thoroughly, Mr. Bob. This is bad for business, bad for the city council, and bad for the prostitutes as well. And we need to keep them working. No on number 21. And then number 24, 22 is CD4. Look, money for the goat puppet. We support that. Thank you, Miss Ramen. Why, you turncoat. Ow, ew. I'm sorry. Whenever somebody gives me some money, I like it. And then Imelda's giving me money too in the Sepulveda Basin at 23 and 24. Yes, what a nice lady. I've always said she's good. Yeah, right. And we'll be back later at general public comment to talk about Mr. Weezart.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Oh, boy.
Are there any additional speakers? Okay, there are no additional speakers. Public.
Caller, which items would you like to speak on?
Item 19 and 21, please.
You'll have 2 minutes.
Okay, we'll start with item 21. So there's no evidence whatsoever that surveillance prevents crime. All this is going to do is allow the city to issue more fines to people who can't really afford it. The best thing to prevent traffic violations, make our roads safer and more hospitable, will be to supplement pedestrian infrastructure, public transportation, and get people out of their cars. Trying to ticket and fine people into a functioning transportation system won't work, has never worked, will not work. So let's just not. How about just no? No one wants that, so stop. Number 19. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because the chat on the Smoke and Scan thread is hilarious right now. And whoever calls me Trailer Swift, you're spot on. I love that. So, number 19, I just think it's interesting that for this appeal, all the council members were asked to stay in their seats and to pay attention. That's really something you should all be doing all the time, but especially when the people are speaking. We work for you, or sorry, rather, you work for us, although you'd like to think we work for you. I don't think the appellant should be granted. That's just my personal feelings. But I think it's interesting how much time you were willing to give them. And I'm sorry I won't be able to come back for general comment to sing to you all today because I have to go to work. But I love you all, Smoke and Scan family, and have a beautiful afternoon.
Speaker, which items would you like to speak on?
I'll speak to the public on items 21, 22, 23. Item 21 for LAPD public tracking devices is just an extension of almost the entire insane agenda of millions of dollars, which is almost entirely dedicated to the LAPD in items 9 through 14. This item 21 is by Staffer B, racist Asian criminal John Lee, to install even more LAPD public surveillance with LAPD automatic license plate reader cameras to track the public. John Lee is not only stupid to constantly give our public resources away to the LAPD in this stupid motion, but all the black Uncle Toms will all vote for it, racist and corrupt. Motions like this is how we got to 60,000 homeless people on our streets. 22 is for street maintenance in CD4. In my opinion, Kern Price should not be allowed to vote on this item because he is indicted and out on bail awaiting trial. In my opinion, Heather Hutt should not be allowed to vote on this item also because she was not elected by the people, but selected by petty pink-faced dictator Krikorian. I'm holding for general public comment. Thanks.
Yes, 1881, and I'll give my full name, Candido Maris, proud resident of the 12th District. I want to speak on item 19, and I want to speak on item 21.
Speaker, you'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you. In regards to 19, I'm really going to look forward to the conversations and the comments by the council members. This is an issue that I believe that in the past we were looking at, and I don't think there was enough discussion on this issue. So I look forward to hearing what council members have to say on this. On item 21, you know, every district is like its own state. And in the 12th district, you know, we're tired of watching people get run over. We're tired of seeing crime take place. So in the other districts, with all respect, if you want to not allow the cameras, that's fine. But we support Councilman Lee on this. And I want to make this very, very clear. I don't kiss Mr. Lee's ass. We don't even socialize. But he does a great job of representing my district. And so I want to make sure that we don't have more people dying. How many people died last year because of hit and run accidents? Just today they were showing how many people were dying. So for those of you who I consider my friends who are on the opposite end, if you don't like what I say, that's fine. That's fine. But in the 12th district, we're going to do everything we can to make our district safer. Thank you.
Next caller. Is there any other callers?
Caller, which items would you like to speak on? Caller with the last four digits, 8130. I see you're unmuted. Which items would you like to speak on?
Morning, nerds and virgins. Brock Landers, Los Angeles private investigators. I'll talk on
I'm sorry, Speaker. Can you repeat which items you'd like to speak on?
This is Brock Landers, Los Angeles private investigator. I'd like to speak on all open items, please.
That's items 19 through 25, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Number 19, since you guys are against it, I'm for it. The day I start agreeing with things coming out of your dirty cock holsters, I'm going to check myself into the nut hut. I was going to say it's interesting that you're pushing back against affordable housing, but it's not interesting. The developers just didn't pay you guys enough. 21, if you need to raise money, stop passing stupid programs that don't help anyone. Traffic cameras aren't constitutional because you can't confront your accuser. Maybe I would get some candid shots with Geeky Girl, but that's about all they're good for. With Mr. John Shutter, it's a good thing that the meeting didn't take place in a bus. I guess yesterday's bus is today's council chamber. To the back of the chambers with you people.
Thank you. For item 19, I don't know the particulars of this matter, but as a Laker fan, I think you should give full consideration to Mamba 24 LLC. I thought it was interesting that Councilmember Padilla recused herself and traded as an abundance of caution. Like, there's no shame in recusing. It's what you're supposed to do. And here, it's not a maybe thing. It's the law. If you live within 500 feet, you got to recuse. And I don't want to be hard on Councilmember Padilla. I just want to make sure that the rest of your colleagues don't believe that that kind of recusal requirement is suggestive. I thought it was interesting to hear the city attorney portray this as a quasi-judicial proceeding, and you should be sitting in your seat and paying attention. You kind of should always be doing that. And I just want to give a shout out to our disgrace of a city attorney at the helm right now. Get them off the beat and bring back growth. For item 21, Councilmember Lee's cameras. Again, this is just a misuse of the Sunshine Canyon Trust Fund. We have a landfill that is steeping foul odors, sickening kids, forcing them to cancel recess, lining up outside. They can't do, but what does John Lee do? Does he do anything to ensure enhanced testing or actual offsets to the impact of this? No, he shovels some more money to LAPD. I just want to say, let's cut down on legal liabilities by installing speed governors on all the cars we give to city officials like you. Maybe let's get a motion installing permanent body cameras on Councilmember Lee so we can all go along with him on his Vegas trips where he wheels and deals city services for gifts. Councilmember Krikorian wants an inspector general's cleaning. Far more effective way with these strapping body cameras on our politicians. We can even flatter Bob Blumenfield by allowing AI to search through the contents of those recordings. And I just want to give a shout out to Councilmember Lee. Mr. Esparza is the one that ratted out Lizar, and who was on that trip?
Thank you. Are there any additional callers?
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. 19 through 25, right. Well, the license plate readers, first of all, congratulations on the removal of the goatee. I do admire your tenacity. The license plate readers, I'm less comfortable with. And one of the prior speakers mentioned, it's one thing to do it sort of citywide, but if you do it in your neighborhood, it kind of takes on a strange, Councilmember Rahman, a kind of a little bit of apartheid component where if you come in here, you're being watched very, very carefully, no matter what you're driving or whatever. The whole thing is not cool. And another speaker talked about how it's sunshine land use. This was one of Mitch Englander's great, and go back to Craig Smith. These guys basically steal money to ameliorate, mitigate a terrible, foul-smelling landfill and give it to the YMCA, who then blocks people like Eric Previn from participating because he criticizes the council members for, I don't want to get into it now because there's a lot of, although I will bring it up in the election because Krikorian and his replacement option, Adrian Nazarian, did one of the lowest things you could do. So it's nice to have the Carpenter Avenue Cougars in the house today. What they did was so disgusting, it was unbelievable. They scheduled the debate against the very charming challenger for right after they didn't. They wouldn't agree. They wanted to instead have a celebration of youth in government at the YMCA, denying the kids at youth in government a chance to hear from all the people. So gross, so appalling. Anyone from the progressive flank, anyone from any flank would vomit at reading the details about that. And yet, that's the Sunshine Landfill recipients of the year every year because John Lee just smears it around. It's very, very bad. Going on to the other item, we have that's license plate readers. And by the way, the Sepulveda Basin is another festival of corruption. Of course, Nuri Martinez gets credit for starting that mess. And, it should be the place, if people are paying attention, where an arrangement was made for more sporting activity facilities.
Speaker, it's unclear which item you're speaking on.
Sepulveda Basin. I'm sorry, is this the Grove replacement? Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to have to join the Rob Kwan, anyone but you, if you're going to keep interrupting. I'm talking about the Sepulveda Basin and funding 8,500 from AB 12. So this is just not fair. You can't do that. I'm going to call Michelson. We're going to wake up Michelson. He's over at Karen Bass's office, hiding and hoping that people don't realize that our genius mayor is run by the same crooked lawyer who was running Mayor Garcetti's ambassador campaign. All right, getting back to Sepulveda Basin, Harvard Westlake should be given a first look on putting up whatever the hell they want in that large open space. It's not too far from the school. They can exclude whoever they want, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I believe that concludes phone public comment, correct? There's no more speakers? Okay, so then let's move then to...
Hi there, Seth Lewandowski. I'm also a park film monitor. The old saying goes that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity, but here we all are to ask you one more time to come to our aid. The Film LA monitors make $43 an hour. That's on the record. Anyone can see that, while we sit here and make $22.68 an hour for essentially doing the same exact job. To raise our rates, you would have to charge production companies more. But production companies haven't had their rates raised in the past 9 years. And when you do that, you charge the production company more. The money doesn't come out of the city budget. In other words, the city wouldn't be losing anything by bringing our pay up to the parity that we deserve. And so it's the 11th hour, as my other colleagues have pointed out. Please help us. There's a logjam somewhere. We don't exactly know where it is. But this is what we deserve, and this is what we need. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, council members. Robert Tannen, also Park Film Office. I think you can hear our frustration. We've been coming here for months, and we love our job. We love and are proud of the work we do. We're proud of the work we do for this great city, but we feel disrespected as part of the city family, to be perfectly frank and get to the point. All our side table proposals have currently been rejected except one, which is mileage reimbursement, which we already had in the old MOU, but for some mysterious reason, another issue we have never received. As one of my colleagues says, Film LA monitors do the same job as us, but we're in the parks. But we actually have many more responsibilities. We have more training. We have a larger skill set, and we do disaster services work. They make 43, we make 22.68. That's not fair. They have an 8-hour minimum day. We don't have a minimum day. They get overtime after 8 hours. We never get overtime. We love our job, but it's unsustainable as it is. We're asking for your help. Thank you.
Good morning, Ada Murillo, Vice President, ASME Local 3090. These are just two of the groups that I represent. Park activity monitors, critical position to the city of Los Angeles, self-funded, and they play a big role when it comes to the film industry in Los Angeles. The next are the 911 operators. I mentioned before there's a 200 position vacancy. Last week, we lost 12 to 15 dispatchers. Yesterday, a class of 24 came in. I understand that they are working on hiring. However, we need to fill the gap. We have proposals on the table right now that we need your help with. Please let Paul Gerard and everybody else know that we are not just civilians. These are critical positions that need to sustain the city. If Mayor Bass needs to be involved with our small table negotiations, then please, we welcome that, because this is what's going to mean the difference of 50 PSRs leaving and not being able to sustain the system. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just really quickly, I'll note that it's very interesting that it seems like that the city has a terrible issue with labor relations. Like every, union has to really fight for any kind of pay or anything, but except for the LAPPL, the fake one. They get whatever they want. The city can go into a deficit, load the cops with, overtime and way overpay them to harass the public. Let's see. So I'd just like to let you know really quickly about how bad your whole, sticking general comment at the end of the meeting is for everyone. These meetings are incredibly long. It's to the point where last Friday I was pretty much running home because, I was starving because it's, like 3 o'clock already. You have an issue to really, cause some health effects for people, people having issues, who have health issues and
Great.
stuff.
Thank you.
Kevin
Next
needs to
speaker,
go.
please.
Congratulations, Council. You opened the door to full-time tracking of everybody in the city of LA. Now, from what I heard of the comments of the people that spoke today regarding the automatic traffic light cameras, people don't even understand what exactly they do. And I can understand that because all I know of is of a newscast that said there was a press conference. I wasn't even able to see the press conference. Do all of you even understand what this is going to do besides the $500,000 that are coming from the Sunshine Canyon Landfill and the Neighborhood Empowerment Program? I don't think so. I only know this because the City of San Fernando Police Department did a public presentation to their Transportation and Safety Committee on January 4th, 2024. You can find that on YouTube so you can see what it is. So the problem with this is not the readers, but what it will lead to. Today it's just the readers, which just read the license plate, the color of the car, and the type of rim that's on there. Tomorrow, that's not going to be enough. It's going to be full facial recognition cameras, and I don't want that. I don't want to live in this city like that, and I hope you don't either, and I hope you stop this.
Thank you.
Harriet Elliott, this book is about directed energy, which from talking to Americans, they don't know about it. Cyber-safe weapons are either cyber weapons, such as computer viruses, or electronic warfare weapons, such as those that jam GPS signals. Today we view the AI of smart bombs used during Operation Desert Storm is rudimentary. Anyway, I highly recommend this book. Someone was making fun of me that it's about microwaves and it's so easy. It's not that easy. It's not controversial. This guy is not on the left. This is controversial. When you're talking about directed energy against people, then you're getting into controversial. Here's a guy, it's 300 pages. His name is Robert Duncan, and he talks about directed energy at people. We do not have implants, by the way. That's a misnomer. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you, President, for saying my name right, King James. I'm here for the behalf of the father and Martin Luther King Jr. and all the people in the Skid Row and all around the world that's black and don't have nothing. But you know what? We got a problem here. The problem is that we have all these people that wants to dictate to us brothers and the sisters, our kings and queens, our god and goddesses, and make sure we have nothing. Now, if you allowed us to have our $30 billion a year and do what we got to do for our community, we can stand up our community and do what we're supposed to do for our community. But other than that, you putting the money in other people's hands and keeping us down is not what's supposed to happen. Revolution means to say we will stand. One day, we will have to fight one day. And just like Uncle Martin Luther King Jr. said, we might have to grapple. So hopefully we don't have to grapple as long as y'all stick together and say, look, let's talk to the black community and let's give them what's ours. What is that? Civil rights and human rights, just like 1863. Lincoln said, we are free. Please stand and let everybody know we will stand. And if we don't, we will have to fight until we stand together.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
Yes. And so finally, thank you for fucking me out of my time, so I had to wait here. Tracy Park doing a terrible job. We audited her district. More homeless criminals, liar. And then we have Jose Huizar getting 13 years in prison. Let's give him a hand. Very good. Yes, and you win the Bob. I believe, Bob, you won the pool. You said it would be 13. We owe you a Starbucks gift card, I believe. Then, of course, Marquise, you're Huizar 2.0. You should be there in about 2 years like him. Then, of course, remember in NoHo. That's why Paul Martin Krikorian is not here. You know what he's doing, Tracy? He's housing migrants in a fucking city shelter, claiming it's homeless. That's right. So let's drive over to the FBI and turn them in. What do you say there? How about you, Staffer B? How about you, Curran?
Okay, thank you, Speaker.
Yes, that's right.
I believe that concludes all the in-person public comment. We have a few callers, I believe, for public comment, so we can go to the phones. Okay.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Okay, I guess the last speaker.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Speaker.
Yep. Yeah, hi. DanielGust.substack.com. I have an article, council members. You and the mayor's office are housing undocumented migrants from Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba, and apparently elsewhere at the recreation center or the senior center in North Hollywood Park, and apparently across the city, as I verified over this weekend. That could constitute a federal crime if you're misusing federal dollars intended for the homeless and using it for something else. Also, various city employees have told me that they were instructed by Mayor Bass's people to tell people that the migrants are homeless, which may apparently have the effect of inflating your homeless count, which could also be fraud. I have reached out to the chair of the Congressional Budget Office and the FBI. If you folks don't want to be dealing with them, you need to come clean. And if you're not, there's always a...
Okay, thank you. That concludes the virtual public comment. Great work. Make the city proud. This meeting is adjourned.